Hello fellow language learning nerds, welcome to a new video in which I'm strategically trying to stay out of the sun. Actually, welcome to a video in which I have a bunch of little mini stories that have a language theme to them. They don't really have a place for being their own video or anything like that. They're only tiny little things. So I'm putting them in here as little language things. So yeah. Also, sorry that this isn't a particularly language learning-y video. It's just randomness. And starting the randomness off, I want to tell you about a little very random encounter I had the other day at work. Now, I'm sorry that I can't just explicitly tell you what my work is or what it is that I do, but basically, in my workplace, there are a lot of people who come to visit my workplace, and it's not surprising that many people perhaps they don't speak English as their first language, maybe not speaking English at all. That is some backstory to this encounter. I was walking through work and I came around the corner and this lady was there, and when she saw me, she kind of immediately was like, "Oh, da, da, da," and she started talking to me. Now, she didn't need help or assistance. There was nothing that she really needed from me, and she was, that's why she started talking to me. No. She just was in a chatty mood. She saw me and she was like, "Oh," and then she started talking to me. And nothing was going to stop her enjoying her little conversation with me. Not even the fact that I do not speak Italian. I don't know anything of Italian, and when she realised that, she was like, "Well, this is not a problem," and continued talking to me anyway. She was really friendly, and she seemed to be in such a good, happy mood. And when her friend joined us, she got her phone out and gave it to her friend, and then insisted that her friend take a picture of her and me together, and she linked arms with me, and she was so happy. And then her and her friend left just by being like, "Ciao!" I was left confused, but in a good mood. So yeah, she did not let the language barrier get in the way of her enjoying her London holiday. Speaking of not knowing languages, but that not getting in the way, I wanted to have a little shout out to an episode of a young children's show called Bluey. Now, probably some of you do know that one, or maybe you've heard of it, but in case a few of you haven't, it's just a kids show aimed at very young kids. Episodes are 10 minutes or something like that, and it's just a very good show, very, very good show, in terms of what it tries to teach kids and all that jazz. So, but anyway, I wanted to talk about an episode called Camping, where main character Bluey, their family, goes camping. She goes off to play, and she comes across a kid who's also on a camping holiday with their family. She doesn't speak French, he doesn't speak English, and yet they become friends and they play each day together, and they have so much fun and make great memories. And it's really such a sweet episode. I was curious after I watched that episode. I ended up switching it to Japanese. One, just to hear it in Japanese. It could be really good listening practice for me. But also for some reason I was like, what do they change the new kid that Bluey makes friends with? Do they change that language? But no, they keep it French. I don't know why I thought it would change, but there's no need to change it. Although I did, at the end I was like, wait, what do they do in the French language version? So I switched it to French, and turns out, so Bluey, instead of meeting Jean-Luc, who speaks French, she meets John, who speaks English. So they just swap the two languages around. And so there's this kind of this unique two ways that I can watch the episode as an English speaker. I can watch it in the original version, where you're meant to understand what Bluey is saying, and the new friend, you're oh, I don't know what they're saying, but you see this interaction. Still, this friendship still works between the two of them. but you can watch it the French version and you don't understand what Bluey is saying, but you do understand what John slash Jean-Luc says, and that's fun. I enjoyed that. Another thing I wanted to talk about, mainly to ask if other people experience this sort of thing as well, and that is, I was watching a movie called The Creator the other day. It's a great movie, I recommend it. But one of the things in the film is that it's kind of like a futuristic sort of sci-fi show. So there's like robots and AI, and in Asia, I think it refers to it as New Asia or something. So it implies that something has happened, a lot has happened in that area, and in the movie there's like multiple languages being used by people, and in the background, like on writing and on computers and all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of Japanese being used. And so I mainly just wanted to know if, when people are watching something where, say, in my case, Japanese writing is used in a TV show or a movie, do you ever kind of get distracted trying to read it? Because I swear, like, there were points at the movie where I was sat down watching it, and like characters, like the acting is great, there's important scenes, they're giving context, they're you know, moving the story forward, they're saying things that are important, and it's really good, and I'm just sat there being like, oh, what does that say? Control. Oh, okay. Oh, what's that kanji? I know that kanji. No, wait, that kanji's different. I know the one that has like an extra line there. This one doesn't have. I wonder what that means. Meanwhile, dramatic things are being revealed in the story. So I don't know if anyone else has this sort of thing, but I was doing that just the other day. So I thought I would ask, please. I'm not the only one, right? Speaking of like reading things in the background, I was also doing it again with a video game that I was playing called Cyberpunk. Again, another kind of futuristic sci-fi genre game, but it also has a lot of Japanese written around, and yeah, sure, I was getting distracted while reading stuff. A lot of it while I was trying to drive in the video game. Maybe 1 or 2 crashes happened. But also, I don't know why they were doing this, but they were mashing up sometimes English and Japanese in one word in particular that is seen a lot around the city. And even though they were 2 languages that were like, in this word, it's using English and Japanese that I know these words, and when I saw it, there was absolutely no confusion as to what it meant. I completely understood that the word was meant to be hotel, but I don't know, I didn't like it when they were mixed up together. I mean, look at it, look at this, I don't like it. I don't know why I had this aversion to using within the one word, spelling it a bit in English and then using the rest as Japanese. I don't know why. Why did this upset me so? There was no need for it. I only really noticed it with that one word as well, but it's used a lot and I don't want to look at it again. Lastly, kind of similar, going back to the very first topic, to do with my work. I had a colleague of mine who was working on her own little project to try and bring sign language into our workplace a little bit. Not necessarily like just going around and just teaching everyone sign language, but like bringing awareness to all of our colleagues so that if someone comes in who uses sign language, then they have some sort of context to help them with that situation. Like, they won't just panic in that sort of thing, like, oh, I don't know how to communicate. They can just be like, oh, this is what Thingy was talking about. I think I know what to do in this situation. That sort of thing. And she asked me to help her, and I've been having lots of fun, having a big excuse to talk about language at work. Like there's the professional outside version of me that's like, yes, this will be very important for work and really helpful and make our workplace more accessible. Yes. No, on the inside, I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to tell them about my favorite facts about sign language. Oh, it's so interesting. Ooh. I am a professional. But yeah, those are just some of the random languagey things that happened recently that I just wanted to talk about and have fun with, even though they weren't worthy of just making an episode solely on that one thing. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on, especially today. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So remember, until then, may your grammar be structured and your vocabulary varied. Bye! Little side note about that Bluey episode that I was telling you about. So this is Bluey. This is John/Jean-Luc. So I checked in the French version so Bluey speaks French and John speaks English. John speaks English with a slight French accent, so it does just sound like he's doing this on purpose. He's just being a little asshole.